What was supposed to be a 2-year stint at Cerritos College became a 5-year ordeal. And more than once, the light at the end of the tunnel concealed itself from my view. Lucky for me, I always had a beacon of hope to help me navigate through the troubled waters of despair. My mother. Now here's a woman with a 6th grade education whose worldview and faith in God seemed too simplistic to me. And yet, when I have a serious problem, whether it is related to my work, my family, my children, I don't call Dr. Laura or Dr. Phil. I call my mom. It took me a long time to recognize the wisdom, but thanks to my mother, I learned that if I was to have a shot at the good life, I had to learn to listen to my inner voice. And so I suggest to you that whatever your definition of the good life is, you would be wise to factor in an element of introspection. Be not afraid to take a reflective look inward. Aristotle said that the unexamined life is not worth living. Yet our society, which is ruled by a moral imperative of production, in which the bottom line sets the tempo of our lives, we are always busy, always moving, seemingly unable to stop. But in order to deal with the really important questions in life, you need to block out the noise. And whether it is through religion or spirituality, yoga, meditation, prayer, or simple silence, you need to make time to close your eyes and think about your life, where you are going and why you are going there. What do you want your life to mean? After I graduated from Cerritos College in 1990, I enrolled at UCLA as a math major. The plan was simple. I would quit my job and focus in my full-time in my studies and pursue a PhD in mathematics. In the beginning, things were very hard, but I was doing my part and things were working according to plan. Fortunately, things did not turn out as I expected. I fell in love, and I got married in 1991. And my wife Sylvia, who is a nurse, well, she just loves to help people. She volunteers at the hospital, at our daughter schools, at church, and she always makes time to help a friend in need. And that way of being was not easy for me to relate to in the beginning of our relationship. It took me a long time to recognize her virtue. But thanks to Sylvia, I learned that if I was to have a shot at the good life, I had to realize that my own happiness is intrinsically linked to the happiness of those around me. And so I suggest to you that whatever your definition of the good life is, you would be wise to factor in an element of service. It is in giving that we receive. The greatest joy that I derive from my job is not that I get paid to teach the fascinating subject of mathematics, or that I get 6 weeks off in the summer. No, my blessing rests in the awareness that what I do does in some tangible way enhance the possibilities and the life of others. You don't have to be a teacher or a nurse to make a difference in someone else's life. You just have to make a conscious effort to balance what is in your best interest with what is in the best and abiding interest of those within your circle of influence. The fact that you're here is irrefutable proof that you are the go-getters. The question that remains now is, will you realize your full potential and become the go-givers? But as I look at the faces in this crowd, I realize that many of you have already answered that question with a resounding yes through a life of service and self-sacrifice, and I commend you. May the rest of us be inspired by your example. It's been 25 years since my family journeyed north in search of the good life, and not all has gone according to plan. But in the end, things appear to be mysteriously in place. My mother, as a single parent, through self-sacrifice and discipline, guided her 3 sons to a college degree. My youngest brother, Luis, is an aspiring actor, with a degree in English from UCLA, and he's a graduate from the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. My brother Gerardo has a degree in construction management from Cal State Long Beach, and at the age of 32, became the youngest principal construction inspector in the history of the city of LA. I teach mathematics at one of the best community colleges in the state. I am married to the woman of my dreams, and I have two lovely daughters who are the sunshine of my life. I share this with you, not to boast, but to accentuate the fact that none of us would be where we are today were it not for the many times that things did not go according to plan. I guess what I'm saying to you is that I hope you will continue to exercise your ability to dream and do it without bounds and give 100% of your efforts in the pursuit of your dreams. But what the outcomes do not look like the outcomes you envision. Keep an open mind and an open heart, and life may just dazzle you. So, graduating class of 2007, as you get ready to take the next step in your pursuit of happiness, I ask you to consider the possibility of infusing into your definition of the good life the elements of resignation, introspection, and service. It is my sincere hope that you will defend with passion the ideals that have inspired you to come this far, that you will decisively rebuke the soothing whispers of the world when they conspire to lull your conscience to sleep, that when the trials and tribulations in your lives threaten to extinguish the flame of hope that flickers in your heart, that you will heed the words of the great English poet Dylan Thomas, who pleaded, "Do not go gently to that good night." That when the liars, the cheats, and the thieves come knocking at your door to offer you the moon, and they will, that you will stand courageous and unequivocally declare that your dignity, your self-respect, and your soul are not for sale. Not that day, not ever, not at any price. Graduating class of 2007, may you live the good life. Gracias.